Level 1. The first lie. It's not a lie you tell, it's a lie you don't correct. Your wife asks how the freelance work is going, and you say steady, because steady is easier than the truth. The truth is, the software company you sold 3 stakes in 11 months ago just cleared its second earnout payment, $340,000, wired on a Tuesday. You didn't tell her Tuesday, you told her steady. You still drive the same Corolla, 118,000 miles. The check engine light has been on since March. You haven't fixed it, not because you can't, because fixing it would require an explanation you're not ready to give. She asks why you're still driving it. You say you like it. That's not a lie, it's just not the whole answer. The account sits in a brokerage app you check at 2 a.m. in the bathroom, with the door locked, water running so the phone light doesn't wake her. You've done this every night for 3 weeks. The first rule, the secret doesn't feel like power. It feels like a second job nobody's paying you for. Level 2, the small tells. She notices things before she names them. You stopped complaining about the electric bill. You paid for her sister's flight to the wedding without checking your account first, something you'd never done in 9 years of marriage. She says, that was generous, and watches your face for a second longer than she needs to. You say you got a bonus. Technically true. Technically nothing. You buy a coffee maker, $340, the kind you used to screenshot and close the tab on. She asks if things are going well with the contracts. You say, better than expected. Better than expected is doing a lot of work in that sentence. The actual number is $2.1 million, sitting across 2 accounts, and a trust you set up alone, in a lawyer's office on a Thursday you told her was a client meeting. You didn't plan the trust as a wall. It became one anyway. Paperwork with your name and not hers. A decision made unilaterally that you'll have to unmake unilaterally, or not at all. The second rule, every secret that starts as a protection eventually needs a second secret to protect it. Level 3, the near miss. Her friend's husband is a financial advisor. He mentions at a dinner lightly that he saw a filing with your name on it. Some LLC dissolution, 6 figures involved. You watch her face. She doesn't ask, not there, not in front of people. But in the car, she says, what was that about? And you say, old business stuff, nothing. And she looks out the window for 4 full minutes without saying anything else. That night, you lie next to her and don't sleep, not from guilt exactly, from the specific exhaustion of running 2 ledgers, one for the bank, one for the marriage, and watching them drift further from reconciling. You could tell her right now. You have the exact sentence ready. You don't say it. The third rule, the longer the gap holds, the more it stops being about the money and starts being about what the gap itself has already cost. Level 4, the almost tell. Your anniversary. You've picked the restaurant, the good one, the one you used to split a single appetizer at because splitting felt safer than ordering 2. Tonight, you order 2 of everything and don't do the math out loud. She notices. She always notices. She says, you've been different lately. Good different. I don't know what it is. This is the opening. You have never had a cleaner one. You order the wine instead, $180 bottle. You watch her enjoy it, and you enjoy watching her enjoy it. And somewhere in that enjoyment, the moment closes itself back up. You tell yourself next week. You've told yourself next week for 4 months. The fourth rule, there is no version of the right moment that doesn't require you to actually choose it. Level 5, the discovery. It's not dramatic. She's helping you find a document for the mortgage refinance, something ordinary, something you agreed to together. She opens the wrong folder. She sees the trust. She sees the account statement stapled behind it, printed for no reason you can now explain, sitting in a drawer you thought was safe because it had never been searched before. The room goes quiet in a way that has nothing to do with volume. She doesn't yell. That's the part you weren't prepared for. She sits down at the kitchen table with the paper in her hand and says very evenly, How long? Not a question with a question mark. A demand shaped like a whisper. You say 11 months. She says the number out loud, the one printed on the page, and asks if that's current or old. You say current. She nods slowly, the way people nod when they're organizing a version of their life that just changed shape without their permission. The fifth rule, the discovery is never about the number. It's about every conversation the number was quietly absent from. Level 6, the accounting. The next 3 days happen in silence, punctuated by short, precise sentences. She asks how the trust is structured. She asks who else knew. She asks if her name is on anything. It isn't. She asks why. You don't have an answer that doesn't sound like a justification, and she can hear the difference between an answer and a justification better than anyone you've ever known. You realize, sitting across from her on day 3, that the money was never actually the secret. The secret was the version of you that could hold something that large and say nothing for 11 months. She's not grieving the dollars. She's grieving the discovery that you're capable of a silence that long. The sixth rule, what gets broken in a marriage over money is almost never the money.
Level 7, the rebuild or the end. There are 2 versions of what happens next, and you don't get to know which one you're in yet. In one version, she asks to be added to everything, every account, every trust, not out of greed, out of a need to never again wonder what she doesn't know. You agree immediately, and the agreement itself becomes the first real thing you've told her in almost a year. In the other version, she asks for a lawyer of her own, not out of anger performed for you, out of the quiet recalibration of someone deciding what kind of risk you actually are. Both versions start the same way. Both versions require you to answer the same question honestly for the first time. Why did the silence feel safer than she did? Level 8, the number that doesn't matter anymore. Whatever happens next, here's what you understand now that you didn't at 2 a.m. with the water running. The $2.1 million was never the thing you were protecting. You were protecting the version of yourself that got to hold something entirely alone, unaccountable, unshared, the last private room in a life you built to be shared. That room felt like safety. It was actually just distance with better furniture. Somewhere right now, someone is sitting in a bathroom at 2 a.m. with the door locked and the water running, checking a number they haven't told anyone about. They think the silence is temporary. They think there's a right moment coming. There isn't. There's only the moment they choose, or the moment that chooses for them. And by the time someone else finds the folder, the number was never really the secret. The secret was always the silence, and the silence was never actually free.